one of the developing countries in the continent with over a population of 50 million people. With this increase in the population, there's a deficit in housing units, which brings about a need of over 3,000 units to be constructed in our fixed land. This has caused a lot of problems in land, which has increased a lot of cases that have been reported to the police due to fraud, illegal activities on land that has made a lot of people to come up or make a lot of losses in our country. With all that said, today we have brought in one of the best counsels, Simply Legal, with Counsel Kahuma, the best brain in our country that we want to have on our podcast to help us and have a lot of knowledge shared about land. If you find this episode helpful to you, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share to a friend so that he does not be part of those people making losses while trying to buy their first land. Mr. Counsel Kahuma, I've seen you so many times on TikTok with a lot of insights about land law, specifically about land law, with other knowledge about the law. But today, we want first to know who Kahuma is. To the people watching today, let him tell us who he is. You never know, this is the counsel you need in the future to have the best land and to save you millions of money.
Wow, what a thunderous entrance that you have given us on this podcast. First of all, I'm so grateful that you've invited me on the Engineer's Corner. I think I'm saying it right.
Yes.
For those who are seeing me for the first time and for all the viewers of the Engineer's Corner, my name is Counsel Terry Kahuma. I am an advocate of the High Court of Uganda and all other courts.
Wow.
I would have said the normal legal jargons that we usually say, but I just wanted to simplify it. So my name is Counsel Terry Kahuma. I'm an advocate of the High Court and all subordinate courts there under. That's how we say it.
Okay.
I have a couple of years of experience in Uganda and I major in every kind of law in Uganda.
Okay.
Ranging from artificial intelligence, land transactions, like what we're going to discuss about, commercial law. I've litigated from the magistrates court even up to the Court of Appeal. I'm just left with Supreme Court, but I'll get there.
Wow.
Yes.
That is the brain we have today.
I am the host of my legal YouTube and TikTok page called Simply Legal by Terry Kahuma, where I simplify the law creatively for people to understand.
Wow.
And I've been doing this for the last 6 years, right away from May of 2020 during the lockdown of COVID-19 up to now. I am also the host of, I am the CEO of my legal mobile app called Famiron.
Okay.
So Famiron is an app which connects people and lawyers together.
Wow.
I came up with this right after coming up with Simply Legal. So while I give free information to the general public on YouTube and TikTok, I also now divert the traffic to a platform where they can easily find a lawyer at an affordable cost. So that is Counsel Terry Kahuma in a nutshell.
You have had this genuine, great, brilliant brain about his knowledge on the law, and I'm so excited today. And we have got questions, especially for Montwabuli Joe, that person who is going to buy his first land.
And those are the ones that I want.
Wow. How can someone buy his first land without losing any coin? Or what considerations or what things should that person, you are going to buy your first land, you have got your first 10 million, 5 million, and you want to buy land. What should I look for? What should I ask? What should I look for in these brokers? Because for us, we know, if I'm going to buy land, the first thing I should look for is a broker. But now later, it's when we find lawyers, or what should I know about the process of buying land as a counsel? How do you advise me as the first person or the first buyer of land?
Okay. First of all, I'll bring the law and bring it from big concepts to small, so that everyone can understand. What is land? First of all, we should ask ourselves. Land is wealth in Africa. We all know that everything emanates from land.
Yes, that's
now,
true.
when you look at the scientific definitions, the artistic definitions, land is basically a platform or an asset that appreciates over time.
Wow.
And that's why you see that most of the times land is one of the most sought after assets.
Okay.
It contains issues of fraud, fake titles, dubious brokers, like you've said, cancellation of titles, and I'm going to address all of that.
Okay.
Now, for the initial person or for a young man like me or my host or any other person, you could even be 60 years and you want to buy your first land. The way you can buy land, first of all, is to understand what are the laws which govern land transactions, because you know everything has a legal aspect.
Yes.
And land laws are one of the most regulated spaces in Uganda.
Yes.
First of all, the laws we're going to look at are the Land Act as amended, the Registration of Titles Act. We're also going to look at case law. But most importantly, we're going to look at laws which are more practical on a day-to-day basis that someone can use. So first of all, when you have identified your land, let's assume you've gotten your 1 billion. Even a Muntu can get their 1 billion or 100 million, and you want to buy land in Gayaza.
Yes.
Now, you need to first carry out what's called a search on the land.
A search.
At least that one I know almost everyone knows. But they know it on paper, but they don't know it in practicality.
Okay.
Now, you need to carry out a search on the land. Even before you get a lawyer, you could choose to do that search by yourself, or you could engage us, the professionals.
The professionals, okay.
Now you're going to carry out a search in lands. Why are you carrying out a search? Number one, to find out is what the vendor is the land that the vendor is giving us genuine.
Yes.
Now that will take me to the two types of people in any land transaction.
Yes.
We have the vendor, who is the seller.
Okay.
The seller of the land. Maybe vendor may be a bit too technical, but I'll use simple terms. We have the seller who is selling to you the land. I'll give you two scenarios. There is Johnson, Kajimu Johnson.
Yes.
Then there is Mr. Simwe Kahuma. Johnson is the seller of the land.
Okay.
But for him, his role is to sell to you the land as quickly as possible. For him, he wants the money to go and do some other project.
Yes.
When you carry out the search on the land, you're finding out, is Mr. Kajimu the actual owner of this land? Number one, is he registered under lands?
Yes.
Under lands office? Are there any encumbrances on his land? Now, encumbrances means that we need to find out, is this land title free enough to be involved in any transaction? Now, an encumbrance is basically something which stops the land from being free.
For example, what?
I'm going to get to that. So in simple terms, an encumbrance is a blockade. It's a barrier. Like when you're on our roads here and they're doing these kinds of military checks. But those big stone-like things on the road, let's envision that as an encumbrance.
Okay.
So an encumbrance is something that stops you from moving forward. Now, in this case, to the young man that we are talking about, or young woman, you have your 100 million, you've gone to lands, and you've watched the podcast that Terry did with our host, Asimwe.
Yes.
Now, while you go to lands, you need to find out, especially encumbrances, because that is what most people do not figure out. Now, an example of those encumbrances and barriers are things like loans.
Loans?
We all know that many people get loans in banks to do business.
Yes.
Now, the loan can be in the form of a mortgage, a long-term loan, and let's say you wanted to, let's say you went to Housing Finance Bank to get 10 billion to start a project. You're going to mortgage your land, and you're going to keep the land title in the bank.
Okay.
Now, the moment you do that, then a caveat is a mortgage is registered on that land.
Yes.
So types of encumbrances we have. We have mortgages, we have loans, we have caveats. A caveat is a legal notice which is communicating to anyone who is intending on buying a piece of land, and it is lodged on the title that either this piece of land has issues on it, either there's an ongoing dispute on that land, meaning that now one of the parties has gone to the judge and stated that, look, this land in Gayaza is in the middle of a case. It has a dispute on it. Therefore, let's put a caveat to stop any dealing on that land pending any further lawsuit, any further dispute resolution or handling. So that's what a caveat is. It's a notice that this land is not to be transacted on until the dispute is resolved.
That is true.
So, in a nutshell, I think I've explained too much. But in lands, you are doing a search to find out about encumbrances, loans. You want to find out that this land that you are transacting on, is it free? Because many people have found themselves on the shorter end of the stick.
Okay.
You have paid 300 million for a piece of land. After some time, the true owner of the land comes and says, I put a caveat on this land. Or there was a mortgage and the bank is going to now come and take your land. So that's one of the major purposes of searches. A disclaimer I would put is that anyone who is trying to purchase land, please engage a lawyer, because us lawyers, we are the best people who can be able to carry out these searches for you.
Who can understand those terminologies, encumbrances,
caveats, all those things. So, when you've carried out a search, those are one of the major aspects that you need to know when you are looking for land. Now, when we go deeper, we need to look at things like spousal consent. Now, consents in land are so important.
Okay.
When I say spousal, now most people's minds now go to the marriage
and the woman.
Now, according to the Land Act as amended, in specific, we look at sections 29 to 40 of the Land Act. It states that anyone who you're going to transact with, you need to find out, are they married?
Hey.
Yes.
I'm going to buy land and I have to know whether he's married or not.
You need to know whether the vendor we talked about is married, the seller.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And why do you need to know whether he's married? Because when you know whether he's married, meaning that the husband will not sell the land to you without his wife's consent.
Okay.
Remember, when you're married, when a man and a woman come together, even what the Bible says is that two shall come together and become one. When you become one, especially when the man and the woman have bought the land together, that becomes matrimonial property.
I thought they should be on the same title, like their names.
Yes.
But if I find a man only,
it means he could have bought his land separately.
Okay.
And maybe did not involve the wife. But if the land that you're selling is matrimonial, meaning the asset, which is the land, was acquired within the during the marriage, and both people are on the title, the man and the woman. Let's say it's Mr. and Mrs. Mubiru. Then that means that if the man tries to sell the land to you and you buy it without the wife's consent, the wife can challenge that transaction and cancel it.
That's wow.
She can even challenge the transaction in the courts of law. So now in this segment, we are discussing all the aspects you need to know when you're buying land. We've talked about searches. We've talked about consents. Married, to make sure that there is written consent from the spouse of the person who is selling the land to you. So if the seller is telling you, oh, there is this flashy land in Kololo, it's next to the airstrip, you'll be able to see Museveni all the time. Ask him, are you married? Even if he's not married, you can even do a search at Uganda Registration Services Bureau
for that person's marriage.
Yes, to see whether they have a marriage. So you can even go as deep as that, because he will sell to you the land, his spouse will come and challenge it, and then cancel your transaction. By the way, most people don't know that transactions can be cancelled. Yes, and you end up even losing your money, or you'll be made to, the deal will go bad. Okay. Now, something very important that people need to also consider are what we call interests in land.
Interests in land.
An interest in land, we have what's called legal interest and we have equitable interest. Okay. Legal interest is when you've carried out all of these procedures. You've done searches in land, in land's office. You've gotten a spousal consent. You've gotten everything. Now, let's say you have eventually bought the piece of land. You've paid the purchase price and everything. Now, that means that you are now the registered owner of the land. You've registered with lands, you've done transfer of the title and everything. That means now you become, Terry Kauma becomes the legal owner of the land, because now your name is registered. It has been transferred from Mr. Simwe to Mr. Kahuma. Now there you become the registered owner. Now that means that you have legal interest in the land, you are the full owner.
Yes.
Equitable interest is different.
Mm-hmm.
I could buy land from Mr. Simwe.
Yes.
But we have not done the transfer of the title from Mr. Simwe to Mr. Kahuma.
Yes.
Now that means that I just hold equitable interest. So equitable is also enforceable in the courts of law if you now turn around and say, I didn't receive money from Mr. Kahuma.
Hey.
Yeah. Land is a very, very tricky thing. So I'm even going to go into aspects of sales. So I'm trying, every step I give, I try to help you avoid.
Okay.
On how to safeguard yourself in each step. So I would advise everyone, whenever you're in any land transaction or you're buying land for the first time, ensure that you strive to get a legal interest, because a legal interest is you the full actual owner of the land. Meaning you have to participate in the sale agreement, pay the purchase price, buy the land, pay the taxes, the 1% stamp duty, and all of that, and make sure that you transfer the title.
So that you have it.
You have the legal interest, you have the title, which is enforceable in the courts of law. Enforceable meaning you can take on the seller who has said that this guy has taken my land fraudulently.
Okay.
Yes.
What about occupation on the ground? What if there are some people, squatters, we are about which they are?
I was coming there, and I know that's the juiciest part.
Yes.
So many people have talked to me in the comment section whenever I do land videos. They want to know, how can we be able to deal with squatters?
Yes.
Now, it's why I started with step 1, step 2, step 3. Most of the times, given that we're in Africa, the nature of our land transactions, they are definitely going to be squatters on the land. You can't avoid them.
Okay.
It's very hard to find land where there are no squatters. Unless you're living in uptown Kampala, Naguru, Kololo, Wea, Buziga. But even those ones, still they are squatters one way or the other.
Who is a squatter?
That's a good question. A squatter is a person, individual, or even family that has existed on your land for most of the times for even more than 12 years. So a squatter doesn't necessarily own your land, but they have been settling there for a long time.
Okay.
That means that they have more or less become part of the community. And by the way, most people think that squatters are easy to evict. It's not very easy to evict them.
Hey.
It's one of the most difficult things. Because when you look at the laws of Uganda, even when the NRM government came into power, so many people had issues with squatters on the land.
Yes.
Now, when President Museveni came in, he said it's not going to be very easy to remove these squatters.
Okay.
So now they were categorized under the Land Act as bona fide occupants and lawful occupants.
Yes, I've had those two terms.
You've heard of those two terms. A lawful occupant is someone who has existed on the land, and lawfully he is known to be part of that land. Like, he is at least the owner of the land has accepted him to be on that piece of land. But a bona fide has been there for, both have been there for 12. Okay, the way the constitution was made in terms of land laws is that anyone who has been on a piece of land for more than 12 years before coming into force of the constitution of 1995, that means that person becomes a bona fide occupant.
Okay.
Now that means you cannot just evict them.
I have a question. Those who are less than 12 years, should we chase them?
Auntie, less than 12 years before 1995 constitution, so meaning they should have existed there in 1983. You get it? As lawyers we say, before coming into force of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda, 1995 as amended. So that means the first constitution since the NRM government came in started in 1995. Now President Museveni said 12 years before the Constitution of 95. So that means 1983 and beyond. 1983, 1982, 1981, like that.
Then now, currently, after that, is the time still the same, 12 years?
And they should show that they were in existence there before that time. So onwards, you cannot evict them.
You cannot?
You cannot. Now the two options are that you either have to live with them or compensate them.
That's where issues are.
And most of the times you have to compensate them.
Okay.
Otherwise, you're going to have to share the land with them. Now, here is the ironic thing. Squatters actually have rights on your land, especially equitable interest. I use the wrong word, rights. They have interest on your land.
Okay.
Remember, we looked at equitable interest and legal interest.
And legal interests, yes.
Now, equitable interest is a lower, lesser kind of interest on the land.
Yes.
We talked about the most powerful, which is legal interest.
Yes.
You have a sale agreement, you have the land title, you have the transfer forms,
yes.
you have the receipts of URA that you've paid stamp duty.
Yes.
But now equitable interest is where it is lower. It's lower. It's like having a Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon and then a Toyota V8.
Okay.
Toyota, they are all powerful, but a V8 is not as powerful as a Mercedes-Benz. I know I'll get a lot of backlash for saying this because of the different owners. But what I'm saying is that if you try to evict a squatter from your land,
yes,
he can challenge you in court. He has an unequitable interest, and the judge will listen to him. He will say, Mr. Simo, even if you're the registered owner of this land, and Terry Kahuma existed on your land 12 years before coming into the constitution,
yes,
I'm going to listen to him. And they can give a ruling that you're not supposed to evict him.
Okay.
In that now there is even there's a crime, rather there's an offense of illegal eviction. It's actually there in the law.
Okay.
You cannot just evict.
Cannot just evict.
Now, there are so many aspects we have to look at in land, and we may not even finish all of them because it's a very lengthy process. But I'm just outlining the biggest priorities that you should look at. Now, I think we've all seen what a land title looks like.
Land title. First buyer, do you know how a land title looks like?
And I wish I'd come with one.
Yes.
It would be a very good demonstration. But a land title is what us lawyers we call a certificate of title.
It's a certificate of
title.
Yes.
But the generalized acceptable term is land title.
Okay.
Certificate of title has just 4 simple parts.
For those who don't know the land title, the lawyers here teach us about the 4 parts of a land title. I'm talking the first buyers. Yes. The first one.
So the first part is, of course, going to show the description of the land.
The description of the land.
Yeah, of course, it will show certificate of title, block, let's say 610,
yes,
plot 12, Busiro County,
yes,
or Mengo. So the first part has to show the description. Where is the plot, which parish, which village, which district, which
yes,
sub-county.
I can even ask you a simple question. This is for the beginner. May have bought some land, so at least I got to that knowledge. The difference between block and plot. To the beginner, what are you trying to tell us? What does it mean?
So, I want to bring it down from the way you see a country level,
yes,
up to a village level.
Yes.
We have Uganda.
Yes.
We have Kampala.
Yes.
We will have Rubaga division. Then inside Rubaga division, there will be maybe Busiro.
Okay.
Busiro.
Yes.
So it keeps going down in small denominations or divisions.
Yes.
So when you see the difference between block and plot, the block is the bigger entity. Okay. It's like a mini parish.
Yes.
So it's trying to show you that, let's say you have land in Mengo. Of course, you know Mengo is quite big.
It's big, yes.
So you're going to have, let's say, Mengo. Then you'll have Busiro, which is a smaller one. Now the block is the smaller. It goes down to specifics of where the exact land is. So the land title, it gives you a description of exactly that this land is located in Mengo, in this sub-county, in this parish. Now we keep zeroing down until we get to the actual plot.
To the number your plot.
So now the plot is your, like, Isioka small 50 by 100.
Hey.
So this is the block. Then the plot is here. Then the larger parish, the sub-county,
So that's page 1 of the
land title certificate of title. Yes. Now, when you go to part 2, part 2 is basically describing the inner details. You're going to know the measurements of the land. So now I think you can see it goes from upper to smaller.
Yes.
We have now known that this place is in Busiro County, Mawokota, or maybe Nakasongola. Then on part 2, you're now going to look at the actual measurements, the decimals. Is it a 50 by 100?
Yes.
Then you still on part 2, you need to know, is the land leasehold?
Leasehold.
Is it freehold?
I'm going there.
Now it was going to take
customary?
Is it customary?
Yes.
Now I'm going to mention them, and I'm now going to now expound more on it.
Yes.
So we need to know on part 2, is this particular piece of land, is it a freehold?
Yes.
Is it customary? Is it Milo? And is it I think Milo, leasehold, customary, and freehold.
There are 4.
There are 4 of them.
Land tenures, yeah.
But where do the land tenures come from? That is from Article 237 of the Constitution.
237 of the Constitution. As an engineer, I've got that article.
And as an engineer and any other ordinary person,
Yes.
any citizen of Uganda, we need to know the Constitution is the mother law of the land.
Okay.
That is it's the biggest law that governs the entire country. And every country has its own constitution.
Yes.
So now with Uganda, all laws, whether it's a Penal Code Act, Land Act, their mother law is the Constitution.
The Constitution, yes.
Now, Article 237 talks about these particular land tenure systems.
Yes.
And all land tenures are subject to Article 237.
Yes.
What is customary land? Customary is basically land that is governed by the kingdoms, and in specific, the land boards of those kingdoms.
Okay.
For example, now like we have Buganda Land Board. I think it's the most common. Now, Buganda Land Board will govern customary. And when you look at now like the system in Buganda or in Bunyoro or Ankole, most of the times this customary, it's governed by the kingdoms.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the land boards of these kingdoms are the ones that govern customary.
Yes.
And they can even reach a point of even converting some of that customary land on behalf of the kingdom to leasehold. They can end up leasing the land.
Okay.
A case in point is Nansana.
Yes.
The largest part of Nansana is land that is land of Buganda Kingdom.
Okay, yeah.
And it has been leased. I think that one you are aware of it. And it has been leased off to almost everyone who is a sitting tenant in Nansana. Yeah, so that's all.
So from customary, it's where they break into leasehold.
No, they are all different, but customary can be turned into
leasehold.
They can end up leasing the land to get revenue for that, to get revenue for the land board of that kingdom, which is in charge of that.
So what is leasehold? For it, I know for 49 and 99, something like that.
So, okay, let's even go to what a lease is. A lease is basically renting land.
You are renting
land.
Okay.
So a lease is a situation where Mr. Simwe has seen that Terry has a lot of land in Bunyoro, where the oil is, and you want to lease Kahuma's land next to the oil well.
Yes.
You're going to agree with him that I'm going to be paying you either monthly or annually a certain rate to be able to have a leasehold certificate and to enjoy possession of your land for as long as we can agree. Okay. Now, when you hear 49 and 99 years, then that means that it was we inherited our laws from common law, from the British. So that's where a majority of our laws come from, if not all of them. Now, 49 and 99 years were at least the marks and yardsticks for a lease. And in fact, that's where most people can benchmark from. Most people's leasehold periods, you find that they're from 49, 99 years.
Okay.
Now, a leasehold certificate is something you get when you have agreed. The lessee is a person who is leasing the land. The lessee is the person who is leasing the land to you. The lessor is you who is
receiving the land for that period of time.
Yes. So the leasehold certificate will indicate all of that.
Okay.
Terry Kahuma is the lessee. Mr. Simo is the lessor.
All those things are found on part 2 of the land title.
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll finish part 1. There's part 2. Now part 3 is the most important, which is the encumbrance page. We've now gone back to encumbrances. Why in all of my land videos, if anyone can go back to them,
yes,
I critically talk about the encumbrance page, because many people pay their money and they end up finding out that this land is on a mortgage.
Okay.
This land has a caveat on it. This land actually does not belong to so and so.
Yes.
So encumbrances, like we said, they range from a lease can be an encumbrance, a caveat, a loan,
yes,
whatever it is that is stopping that land from being free.
Yes.
Yes.
That's page 3 of the land title. So those who are following us, we are talking about parts of a land title. We have seen the first page, the second page, now on the third page. Now the council is going to tell us about the last or the fourth page. So
the fourth page is basically the conditions that are existent on the land. Most of the times, most people don't pay attention to this, and its effect is not as big as the other 3 parts. But the condition page is basically there are times where you want to carry out a transaction on this land. By transaction, you could either want to do a lease, you could either want to buy the land, or the conditions that are surrounding that piece of land are what are stated on part 4. Yeah. Okay. So that's basically it. So those who are here, we are talking about land tenure systems and how to possess land in Uganda, and we have the council here to explore each and every area. I have a question. I bought some land, and in this page where they restrict the purpose of that land title, restricted for industrial use only. I was coming to that. Yes. Now, that's a very important aspect that you've talked about. And that's where we have what's called the Physical Planning Act and the NEMA Act. Physical Planning Act and the NEMA. Yes. Act. Today we are talking about the laws. Now, yes, we must all know why do we have the NEMA Act. NEMA, of course, we all know NEMA is National Environment Management Authority. Okay. Now, of course, the NEMA Act is what regulates all the environmental aspects in the country. Yes. Now, when you say restricted for industrial use, yes, or let's say residential purposes, yes, that means that you cannot just buy land in, for example, if you want to buy land in Kololo, yes, there's no way you're going to buy land in Upper Kololo next to all these ministers, which is purely residential and for diplomatic purposes. Yes. And you're now going to put there a factory. Okay. When you put there a factory, that means that NEMA, you're granting access to NEMA. And also, let's say all these other physical planning authorities mandated by the Physical Planning Act and NEMA Act to come and demolish your factory. Because they will tell you, you should have been aware of all of these things. You're not supposed to put a factory in a residential area. Likewise, you're not supposed to put a residential house in industrial area. Areas, yes. Industrial area, you're going to have meat packers, you have all these marabou stocks flying around, you have MTN, you have Where. So if you start putting your house there and you're being affected by these fumes, yes, cases here can come and demolish your house. Okay. They'll tell you, you go to Mukono or Sonde and build there because that's residential. So what am I trying to say? Yes. There are certain gazetted areas that are meant for residential, that are meant for farming, yes, that are meant for whatever purpose. Now, if Terry Kahuma wants to acquire a leasehold and he wants to do farming, yes, he cannot buy a big piece of land in industrial area to do goat farming or to do Irish potatoes or tomatoes because it's his farm that he's leasing in industrial area is not meant for that. Yes. So he should go and do farming in Gayaza or in Kapeka. Okay. That's why there's so many farms that side of Kapeka. Okay. Because at least it's meant for that purpose. So when you see restricted for this use, restricted, and by the most people should take very keen notice of that. People have not been reading land titles. They have not, and it's a very, very important aspect.
Restricted.
Yes. In developed countries, they follow these things so much. For example, have you noticed that in residential areas nowadays,
yes,
there's so many apartments coming up? That's not right.
Hey,
it's
I
not.
thought an apartment is residential.
Even if it is residential, it should be in a certain make. You cannot have so many nice residential houses, then you have an awkward-looking apartment building. Apartments, or at least we should revise our physical planning laws.
Okay.
The urban regulations. All of that is centered around Kampala City Council. That place has so many issues.
Okay.
Because they have allowed buildings to come up. You find an apartment is mushrooming in Kololo. Yet it's not meant to be there. Even if they try to dress it up by saying it's residential, it's not meant to be there.
Okay.
Because there are regulations that are meant for that apartment being in another area, but not in an area where it is purely residential, and you find that there's certain height that your apartment should be on, a certain make, because ultimately when you raise a huge apartment in Naguru, where there's so many residential houses which are ordinary, you're infringing on other people's right to privacy.
Privacy, yes.
Yes. So now you see how one wrong turns into 5 other wrongs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Council, let's talk about this new land law that was brought. We had sleepless nights, 50 by 50, 30 by 30, 50 by 100. What is exactly in that law that was signed, and can you help us understand about the sizes of land? First, we got problems with what they brought about, that 50 by 100, you can no longer prove 100. What, 50 by 30, 30 by 30. Quarrels were everywhere on the internet. What is exactly that was put in that law? Or what can we understand from that law, from your perspective as a senior counsel about land?
It's basically streamlining.
Hey.
Yeah, that's basically streamlining. And the reason why there was so much backlash from people is that many people were doing dubious things.
Okay.
So that law comes in to remedy so many issues that were there. If Terry Kauma buys this, I'll just take an example of this table. If I buy a 50 by 100, that law comes in to stop things like encroachment on other people's pieces of land, to ensure that if someone is buying a 50 by 100 and they state it that my land is indeed this 50 by 100 and I want it for this purpose, then that means that that's what it should be.
Yes.
Now, that means that there needs to be more efficiency in demarcating land. Number 2, there needs to be more effectiveness in knowing the mark stones.
Okay.
Where does my land stop? Where does it stop? Where does it start from? Where are my neighbors? Things like that. Now, when you say that there were that civil engineers and other engineering practices were also telling clients that if it's not this, it's this. That means that this new land law comes in to standardize.
Yes.
I think I'm using the right word. To come in and put actual standards in our land dealings and in the legal structure concerning lands. That there should be standards if you want to construct a certain apartment building.
Yes.
Or if let's say, I'm looking for the best example to give you. Have you heard of what's called an easement?
Not really.
Okay. So basically, there are times when a certain piece of road, like a public road, can be able to pass over 2 people's pieces of land.
Yes.
And you know that, of course, with time, there will need to be 2 titles that will be cut out. One for this side, one for this side, because it's a public utility passing through.
Yes.
Why am I bringing that example? Because when such events happen, there still need to be more measurements and more demarcations that have now come up in the new piece of land that has now been created by this road that is passing through, or this pathway or something. So this new law is just coming in to enforce standards.
Enforce standards.
Yes.
Okay.
If a certain building is meant to be built in a 50 by 100 piece of land and the measurements are exactly right, then it should be that.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that is what we usually recommend, and that's actually what where you can have a house, have parking. They ask a lot of things here if you're going to have everything. So we have talked about different types of land tenure. We talked of customary land, leasehold, milo, then which other one? They are supposed to be for.
So there's Milo, there's freehold, and customary.
Which
now,
I wanted to ask you, which land would you advise for someone to buy if he's a starter of all the four?
A starter, it's Milo.
It's Milo, and why? Milo. And what is composed of the Milo, so that we get to know why you would advise a person to buy Milo land.
So it starts from our colonial laws. Like I said, we were colonized by the British. By the way, Uganda was considered a British protectorate. So their initial interest was Kenya, because Kenya had more advantages than Uganda. Uganda's biggest advantage was the Nile, River Nile. That has always been one of our greatest assets. So when they saw that Uganda was a more advantage, it also had its own advantages, were considered a British protectorate in 1890. Now, that's where our laws came from. When they came and found the kingdom system here, the monarch system, we had Bunyoro, Buganda, Ankole, Toro, all the Bantu tribes. But the northerners and also easterners had their different chiefdoms and kings. So that they decided to partition and say, we're going to come up with 4 tenures. That's how we inherited those tenures from the British. Milo, customary, freehold, leasehold. So we have discussed all of the rest except Milo. Milo became what can be privately owned. So Milo in actual sense is privately owned land. Milo is privately owned land. So everyone who you see has a private piece of land where the land title is yours. This now goes back to the legal interest we talked about. When you have Milo, if you keenly look at most people's land titles and they say Terry Kahuma is the owner of this land, it will show Milo. That's why we went back to the description on part 1 and 2. It's going to show block 10, this and this and this, Maokota, this is Milo. Now Milo is basically what a new starter should buy.
A new starter should buy Milo land.
But if you want to also utilize the other tenures, like I said, we can do leasehold, and leasehold is the nearest to Milo.
After Milo, the next one is leasehold. There we said you just rent. Some years.
You can look at a lease as renting, but they call it leasing. But leasing, of course, has its own dynamics around it. But I just wanted to simplify that leasing is long-term renting of someone's land. You're in possession of their land, but doesn't mean that you own it. It has an owner. That's why they come up with a lease agreement.
That is very beautiful.
Now, for the foreigners, people who were born outside Uganda, anyone who is not born in Uganda, now it takes us now to a whole different aspect of citizenship. To be a citizen of Uganda, you have to either be born in Uganda, you have to be a Ugandan by origin, you have to be a Ugandan through registration, and you can also hold dual citizenship, and also naturalization. So you find that all the other ones are easy by registration, by birth, by origin. But naturalization and origin, you have to have had a grandparent, a parent who you can properly trace that originally I was born in, let's say, Kenya. Like, for example, you see the Sebei people, the border of the, what are these people called? We have all these people on the border, the Kalenjins, the Sebeis, and these people, they are called the Samyas. They find that the Samyas of Kenya and Uganda. Now, most of those ones can easily get citizenship by naturalization. And also by origin. They can state that my great-great-grandfather was living in this part of Uganda. So through immigration, they can trace and they can get citizenship. But why are we bringing citizenship? Because many people find themselves as foreigners and they want to buy land here. So many people have contacted me, people from Luxembourg, America, where even Kenya, Sudan, and they want to buy land in Uganda.
And they are not
but
citizens.
They are not citizens. Now, one of the I want to interconnect everything that we are saying. One of the key requirements that you need to buy land in Uganda,
Yes.
of course, now this is for citizens. You need a national ID.
Yes.
You need to have, of course, your ordinary details, email address, phone number, where they can easily trace you in lands.
Yes.
Now that is where you're now doing the sale agreement, and you're also giving your documents in the lands office. So you need to have all of those personal details.
Yes.
The where you stay, phone number, email, national ID. As we all know that the NIN, the national ID number, is what now we use.
Yes.
At least now government is using that in the database. So that is for citizens of Uganda.
Yes.
Now for non-citizens, the way that the government can identify you as a non-citizen is through they'll ask you for your national ID or your passport.
Yes.
But you can't buy land as a foreigner in Uganda. You can only lease.
You can only lease.
A foreigner can only lease.
Hey.
As a foreigner, you can't buy land. I don't know about the manipulations in lands, but as we all know, a system can't be 100%. Definitely, there are foreigners who have manipulated the system.
Okay.
But in principle, you shouldn't own
buy
land.
You should own a lease.
If you want to own land in Uganda as a foreigner, I can now say this to young people who are outside America, Sweden, China, South Africa. You have to first become a citizen of Uganda, then you can own land. But other than that, you can only lease land.
Okay.
And that purpose for why you're leasing has to be known, whether you're leasing it for farming purposes, for industrial purposes, for whatever it is. Yes.
Yeah, that's very beautiful. So foreigners there, and you want to own some land in Uganda, according to council, it might not be possible unless otherwise you become married and then you do citizenship by marriage. By the way,
have you noticed that many people are doing it?
Yes.
Many people are doing it.
You get married, then you can be...
You find a Muzungu is getting married to a Ugandan.
When you are targeting our land,
and they do civil marriages.
Yes.
They don't do church, because civil, it's a bit easy to break it off.
Okay.
After the Mzungu has gotten what he wanted, what he or she wanted. So land has so many dynamics.
Yes.
We can do like a 5-hour debate on land
I know.
podcast.
So we are going to have this as our final tackle on land. And it is going to be more of owning housing or building a house on land. I have a question. I had this client of mine, and she was divorcing a wife, and the land title was, of course, in the husband's name only. Then he was asking me, is there a way I can own a house and land differently on the same piece of land?
Okay, if I'm getting your question right. The husband owned the land. But she contributed to the building.
The building had been together, so they were divorcing now.
And it's considered as marital property.
Hey.
No, I mean, I want to get your question probably before I answer it.
Because the husband owned the land. I bought my land before marriage.
He was the only person on the
owner,
title.
Yes. But we got married, then we built the house together. We have kids. But now they were separating, and I was asking, is the house for marital and the land mine? Like, those two.
What are the dynamics there? Now, it will be very difficult for the man to get away with it.
Okay.
First of all, there are what we call chattels and fixtures on land.
Chattels and fixtures on land.
Yes.
Yes.
A chattel, we all have, you see, on any piece, it's very difficult to find a bare piece of land just waiting there, unless the owner has bought it and he has left his land there virgin, so that nothing is going to happen in that land unless he or she says that it should happen. Now, a chattel is a temporary structure that is put on that piece of land. If you just look at the entire metropolitan of Kampala, by metropolitan I mean the central business district, what we call CBD.
Yes.
We have, you can have it, like, I'll give you most bare example, a mobile money stall. Those mobile money houses, the ones which are painted yellow and red.
Yes.
For MTN and Airtel. Those are chattels.
Okay.
So a chattel is something you can easily remove. I will give an example. Assuming you have this desk. I mean this table, this centerpiece. And you drill into it one of these microphones, the pod mics. You drill it inside and it becomes part of the land. Because the cost of removing it is going to be so great, you would rather leave it there. It becomes a fixture.
Okay.
Now a chattel is a structure on the land that you can easily remove.
Yes.
Then a fixture is something which is permanently drilled there. Now, when we look at the example of your client, there is this piece of land. It is a 50 by 100 in a prime area, and there is a big apartment building there. That is definitely a fixture. It can't be a chattel like a mobile money stall.
Okay.
You've now understood it. Now, when you relate it to the marriage, the man can't just get away with it even if they're divorcing. The options are 2 or 3. Either they have to sell both the land and the building on it. They get a valuer. You see, they have surveyors and they have valuers. You get a valuer who will value the piece of land and property. So he values a piece of land and the house that is there. Then they just sell it off and they divide, which may be their best option. Or they can decide to leave it as property which could be both in their names. We can accept that the land is in the man's name. And he can't do away with the fixture, which is the apartment. So therefore they have to both share the revenue. Because the cost of demolishing that apartment is much greater than just going on a round table and sharing. Or worst case scenario is that they have to demolish everything, and then it's going to be so cumbersome.
It has been a very serious issue, by the way.
Yeah, because there is an issue of fixtures and chattels.
The
chattels can easily be, all these mobile money stores, they can easily be plucked off. All the wooden, all these shops, what we call budukas, all those are chattels. They can easily be removed by a crane or a grader. Just 1 minute they are off. But to remove an apartment in a piece of land is not very easy. That's a fixture. It's so engraved in the land that removing it is at a greater cost than.
That is very, very interesting.
Now, before we finalize, I'm sorry to take the.
No problem.
We had talked about also how to protect land. We talked about how to actually buy land and protect and actually keep it or protect it.
I've not yet protected it.
In accordance with our theme, was it keep it or protect it?
I want to protect it.
Protecting it. That's the most important aspect of land transactions. Keeping is one thing to buy land. We've gone through all the steps, such as knowing the interest in land, spousal consent, the requirements, the sale agreement, where you're supposed to put the land in terms of the restrictions. Is it industrial? Is it residential? We've looked at all of that. Keeping the land is in actual sense protecting it. How do you protect it? In all the steps you went through, the major steps, the major aspects of keeping land is that you know that the search has been done. You know that there are no fraudulent brokers. The owner is legit. The vendor or seller is legit. Is selling to you the land. Now, if at all a fraudster France has one of the biggest fraudsters in this country. The mafias that who are in land are too many, and people's titles have been taken. I'll give an example of my own mom. She has land in Kampala, somewhere. I'll not mention the name. Bought the land in a prime area. You can imagine at a certain time, the neighbors where her land is, they called her and told her, "Madam, did you send any sellers, any buyers here? We've been seeing brokers coming to buy your land." She said, "No, I'm not aware of it." She's like, people have come here and they have paid money on your land. Yet she did not know of any how she was doing her own things. She had to quickly rush to lands in Entebbe. And she discovered the title had been fraudulently transferred to the people who are bringing the buyers on
when
the land.
she has an original title.
She had an original title. The title that they got in lands, the fraudulent title, looked as original as possible.
Yes.
So the battle she had to go through to cancel out the fake title and everything, that was another story entirely. But I want to show you that keeping your
land
is very important. Now, what are the remedies? We have short-term remedies and long-term remedies.
Yes.
Short-term remedies is the moment you sense any fraud, just like in this situation, sense any fraudulent dealings on your land,
yes,
rush to put a caveat.
Can I even put a caveat after buying just for safety?
No, a caveat is only used when it's necessary, and you get a caveat through a lawyer.
Okay.
A lawyer is going to apply. There is what we call an application for a caveat and an injunction. Now, an injunction is any document that is a court document granted by a judge or a judicial officer. It can be a registrar, a judicial officer, who will be able to an injunction stops any dealing on the land pending a further lawsuit.
Okay.
We have temporary injunctions and permanent injunctions. Now, the permanent injunctions are in very, very rare cases where it is permanently there, whether what or what. But a temporary injunction is there temporarily.
Okay.
Give it 3 months until that fraud that has been sensed in lands has been neutralized. Yeah. Now, when you do short-term remedies like caveats, injunctions, when you have found out the fraudster and the fraudulent title that they have come up for that piece of land, then you can apply for cancellation of that title. Okay. If at all that person is defending their wrong title or is defending their fraudulent title. Yes. So we can talk about land in so many aspects, but it's
then
always...
lastly on the protection, what about when they tell us that if you buy land, put something? Is that also part of protection?
Yeah, it is. You can safeguard your land in a number of ways. Actually, I did a video on that. You can even protect your land in form of wills and trusts. You've heard of a will?
A will, yes.
You have a mass property. You're a civil engineer. You're going to be a very wealthy man. And we proclaim that in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Now,
hey.
You've acquired property, Munyonyo, Kololo, Bozika, where you want to safeguard your things. You feel you're growing old now. You're now 80 years.
Yes.
Now you have to safeguard your properties under a will. Now, when it's under a will, at least it protects you at the time of your demise, at the time of you, because the will takes effect once you have passed away.
Yes.
That's when your children and grandchildren can benefit. So that's one of the ways of protecting your land. In that, or any kind of piece of land you got from a deal, you got 200 million, you bought land here, and maybe your wife didn't know or your family didn't know, you can still protect it. But what the wealthier families do, what we call old money, Rockefeller, Rothschild, all the big people, the Trump family, they lock all their assets in a trust. So you find that there is Trump Trust or Rockefeller Trust. So all the money, all the assets that the original Rockefeller came up with in the United States, all over the world, he locks it in the Rockefeller Trust. So it's very hard to do a fraudulent dealing on a land, piece of land which is owned by the Rockefeller Trust, because it's already known. Trusts are registered also. So it is known by lands, it is known by the family, it is known by all the authorities of that particular country. And the same can be done here in Uganda. So the ways is locking it in a will, in a trust. Also, you can put a lease there. Many people have bought good pieces of land and they lease out their land. So when there's an existing lease, there's a leaseholder agreement.
I can lease my land when it is mine.
Yeah, but yeah, you can. You can be able to convert from Milo to now into a lease until the period of the lease has expired. Okay. And when you don't renew the lease between the lessor and the lessee,
automatically
the person who is leasing and who is not, then it reverts back.
Okay. Wow, a lot has been said about land. Hopefully you had a lot of insights with Council Kahuma. He's one of the great brains here we have. Thank you so much for watching this episode, and if you find it insightful, don't forget to like and share with your friend and leave that comment so that we can always see whether we can bring him back and answer that question, or we can refer that question to him as we end our episode. Thank you so much.